Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is F1 Fanatics. Welcome back to another classic race review, and today's one, as you've probably seen by the thumbnail, and if you watched last week's you knew this was coming, and that is Spa 1998. One of the most chaotic and crazy races in definitely modern F1 history, and probably F1 history in total.
Yeah, this is the first time I've seen it as well, so I had no idea what was to come, apart from the first corner. But the rest of the race, yeah.
And it was amazing to kind of see Steve's reaction, like, what? Like, who's still in the race? We're obviously here today because it's a lockdown here in the UK, and so our usual recording space is now a kind of makeshift office.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So, relax, chap. Just imagine, just watch the race on the TV. We're just on the sofa, just having a chat with you. It's nice, it's relaxed. But we're going to talk about the race now. And so, treacherous conditions. The race was kind of setting the tone here. Mika Hakkinen, he's leading the championship on 77 points. His title rival, Michael Schumacher, is on 70. Coulthard is third in the championship on 48, but it's not really in it. It's a two-way fight between Michael Schumacher and Mika Hakkinen. McLaren are leading the constructors with 125 points to Ferrari's 102, and they turn up at Spa for the 13th round.
Oh.
Mika Hakkinen is on pole, and to show how dominant, Adrian Newey's first kind of McLaren car that he was kind of involved in building, that was Mika Hakkinen's 9th pole position of the season. So 9 out of 12, that was 13. 9 out of 13 he had claimed pole positioning.
Not bad. That's like Lewis Hamilton-esque.
That really is, and I think it showed the dominance of that car, and you know, the quality of Michael Schumacher to still be in a title fight at this point going into it. But they've arrived at Spa on race day. It is pouring down, and obviously in the mountains at Spa the weather can affect the race, and it certainly did today, and it was treacherous conditions. But they've done the formation lap. It's lights out and away we go.
Hakkinen gets a great start off the line. Coulthard's not quite a good start, gets a bit muddled up in the Ferraris, and after the first corner Coulthard spins and he's just everywhere. Everyone else is everywhere. Tyres everywhere. There are bits of car everywhere. There's smoke. There's still rain.
Everywhere.
Still tipping it down.
I mean, it was just spray. And because obviously it's the start and the spray was going, it was kind of, you know, you see this first corner and you're like, looking, oh, Coulthard's dropped back, but it's Hakkinen and the Ferraris, and the Jordans got away. You know, Damon Hill had qualified in 3rd position. They'd all got away well, and then suddenly you see this McLaren come out of the spray mist.
Just into the wall and then back into the car.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, this is not going to end well. And it didn't end well.
The stewards had no idea what was going on.
No.
Those guys on that part of the track are like, oh yeah, this could be a good start to the race. Oh my god! I've got to deal with like 13 cars here.
And this was, I believe, it is still today the biggest turn 1 incident. It might even be the biggest incident in F1 history in terms of the amount of cars that were involved in this carnage. And yeah, 13 in total.
Jeez,
13. I will actually, you talk about it, and I will get up the list here of who was involved in this incident.
Well, I was going to say this, as we're going to hear the names, they didn't necessarily mean it was the end of their race, because it happened in the, if a red flag happens in the first 2 laps, is it?
Yep.
The race then gets null and void and it restarts. So
it's crazy. before we tell you the names, I love Ralf Schumacher's account in the other Jordan to Damon Hill of the situation. Obviously Damon Hill was ahead, but Ralf was like, I saw what was going on, the carnage ahead of me, so I pulled my car to the side, I parked, put it in neutral, just as an arrows went past me and kind of got involved in a crash up. Watched it all unfold, then once everything had settled for a bit, stuck the car in gear and went off.
He's just made it 13 positions by being in neutral.
The relaxed nature. I mean, I'm pretty sure in the car he wasn't. He must have been like, oh my God, what's going on? But just the way that the chat was after, just like, yeah, that's what I did.
Just watched.
Just what I did. He might go on to have quite a good race, Ralph. But
Maybe.
yes, the cars involved in this crash, alongside Coulthard, was actually Eddie Irvine in the other Ferrari, Alexander Vers in the Benetton, Rubens Barrichello in the Stewart, Johnny Herbert in the Sauber, Oliver Panis in the Prost, Jarno Trulli in the other Prost, Mika Salo in the Arrows, I think that was the one that Ralph was going on about, Pedro Diniz and the Arrows. What a livery that was actually that year, that black car.
Yeah, it was nice.
Then we got Takagi in the Tyrrell, Ricardo Rosset in the other Tyrrell, and Shinji Nakano in the other Minardi. Jos Verstappen managed to get his Stewart back to the pits, but it was too badly damaged to continue. It was stopped for an hour, wasn't it?
Yeah, we wish we could tell you more actually about the crash other than Coulthard spinning and everything else being everywhere else. But literally you couldn't see what was going on other than the occasional tyre bouncing across the screen.
It was literally like a tornado. It just ripped through the track and just like left a kind of wake of debris in it.
You could see it was just cars.
It's just like, what's happened here? So much destruction. But anyway,
Everyone was
after an
okay.
hour, yeah, everyone was okay. After an hour, got everything started. But Eddie Irvine's car was okay to get started after sustaining minor damage. Rubens Barrichello, he couldn't start.
Oh.
He was one with damage. Other teams had a spare car, but then they had two drivers involved in the incident.
So they had to pick their favourite.
So yeah, they had to pick their favourite. So I believe, so the ones who didn't start the race, just because they didn't have a car now, was Oliver Panis in his Prost, Mika Salo in his Arrows, and Ricardo Rosset in the Tyrrell.
Important to say, Coulthard, the mastermind of this crash.
Coulthard was still
He is
going.
back in front row, second place. Didn't get pushed to the back. He's still in that front row for round number 2 of the Spa F1.
So, it's lights out and away we go, Stephen. And then what happens at the start of the second
This time,
race?
Damon Hill has a fantastic start. Fires himself in between the two McLarens. Gets a good lead out there. And Coulthard, making up for his round 1 failure, gets an okay start. He gets away from the carnage.
Yeah.
Hakkinen obviously had a great start in the round number 1. This time doesn't get quite a good start. Gets a bit tangled with the Ferraris. I think he makes contact slightly with Irvine, and he then spins, and Johnny Herbert collides. Hakkinen, Herbert out the race after turn 1.
They're gone.
But only 2 cars involved in that one.
Yeah.
But Hakkinen, title contender, great start from round 1, teammate messes all up, and then he messes up on round 2.
Yeah.
Everyone else gets away though.
The first lap drama wasn't done.
No, yes. The first corner drama, just 2
Done.
cars.
First lap drama. It's that man Coulthard again. He has a collision with Wirtz, and Wirtz then retires from the race. But Coulthard gets to kind of rejoin, and he's
just sitting
rejoined
in
at
the
the back.
gravel, and we're like, oh, there's Coulthard.
He's
My
gone.
eyes out.
He's gone. But no, Coulthard rejoins the race at the back.
Because the safety car came out from the Hakkinen, Herbert won. He just rejoins back.
Yeah, very important to kind of note that Coulthard is still in this race.
Still in the race.
Then I suppose the main bits of it, obviously it's pouring down with rain, and you're having Damon Hill in first position and Michael Schumacher is in second. And what ensued was probably the best battle of the race. It was really good driving. Schumacher getting right up, trying to force Damon Hill into a mistake. And yeah, it was really great competitive racing.
I think it was the best racing of the race.
Yeah, definitely. The racing of the race.
It was the highlight of the race.
Yeah, outside of the carnage, that was the highlight. But at lap 8 at the bus stop chicane, Michael was able to overtake Damon Hill, and then he absolutely blitzed him.
He was in the dominating car. Well, we say McLaren was probably the best that season, Ferrari was second best. So Hill was doing a great job to keep him off, but eventually was always going to succumb.
So as this was Stephen's first time watching the race, the comment that followed after Schumacher started to extend his lead, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, was like going, oh, this is a Senna-esque performance of the race. I was like, this is
just going to be a Senna-esque performance. He was flying around. Even if he was miles ahead and he was just cruising, well, he wasn't cruising, but it was really exciting to watch because he was flying around in the torrential conditions.
They kept on bringing up this kind of graphic of on the going, Schumacher is going this fast and everybody else is this slow. And yeah, it was kind of crazy to watch with Schumacher just absolutely dominating. Yeah. He was on top form, just like no one could touch him or get near him. And you know, Damon Hill had done absolutely fantastic for the first part, but after that he was just, yeah, it was different. And considering that his title rival Mika Hakkinen was out the race, so therefore would score 0 points in this round.
So Schumacher would technically take the lead?
He would take the lead in the championship. Yeah. He would go on to 80 points, where Mika Hakkinen would stay on 77 points. Important to note that.
Yeah.
So then we get the kind of consequences of the cars start dropping like flies.
Yeah.
Jos Verstappen, engine failure.
Yeah. Although, a note to say on that one, I'm sure the sponsors are like, oh no, we're not going to have coverage for the rest of the race. They just leave his car there. So you still see his car every lap. And yeah.
So basically, the Stewart car, Jackie Stewart's team, decided that they weren't going to get anything. Little did they know what might happen later on in the race. But they weren't going to get anything. So what should they do? They should just retire from the race with engine failure, put up some fakes. He had a smoke machine in the background. Just to put some sponsor stuff up.
Yeah.
That's how it worked. Amazing.
Literally every lap we saw him. He was in perfect camera shot.
It was perfect. It was brilliant, actually.
Yeah.
You can just, And only really, though, the kind of rear wing one on the front, that was the sponsor really cashing in.
Yeah.
So I hope they were a big spender, or they were hoping to make them the title sponsor.
They were the one that paid for the smoke machine.
Exactly. Great coverage. Who else went out?
It was literally, the camera occasionally panned, it was a car just trundling on in the grass and just stopped. So it's like, oh, there's another one.
It was, well, he carried on from this, but Frentzen went off, didn't he?
Yes, we were a bit confused because Alessi was fourth, and then all of a sudden he was third, and Frentzen was fourth.
But nothing gets past eagle-eyed Stephen, and he went, "Is that a red car? Is that a Williams
in the gravel?"
And I was like, "No, that's probably, somebody else's car just retired." You're like, sure, it was a Williams, and then Alessi was third, and I was like, that must have been him. It had to be him. But
the weird thing is, we didn't get any replays of it.
Well, we also have to take into account, like we said last week, we're watching these on F1 TV. So these races have no commentary. So in a chaotic race like this, with camera angles suddenly panning into different places, we have not a clue what's going on. We were about probably as in a clue as actually being at the race.
Yeah.
So not a clue.
We should say going to a live F1 race always beats the TV experience. However, we were thinking for this race, if you're in the pit lane, pit straight, or first corner, probably great. That first corner incident.
You got your money's worth.
Yeah.
Right there.
However, if you're stuck, because Spa's quite a massive track, it's quite rural, you can be stuck in the middle of nowhere. And you probably saw absolutely nothing. Heard engines, but just saw mist. Because a lot of times, watching on the TV, we just saw mist as well.
Just suddenly, I remember there was one pan shot to the pit straight. And it was just like mist, and then suddenly, like a Ferrari emerged from it. Like, oh, cars! Or it might have been the two Jordans at that stage, I'm not sure. I couldn't remember, but it was like, oh, there they are! Oh, brilliant.
It must have been pretty nasty spectating experience.
But then, okay, so we're
back to the race.
We're starting to get kind of retirees. So Takagi in his Tyrrell, he spun off, turn one, bam, he's out.
He's gone.
That's another one gone. Jacques Villeneuve, last year's title winner in the Williams. Well, in 1997.
Yes.
Title winner, not 2018. He has been retired a long time. Or 2019 it would be now. God, it feels weird that 2019's the last season. I suppose it's because we haven't had any 2020 season, so can't from there. He's gone off. Esteban Tero in the Minardi, the Argentinian driver, he had a gearbox failure, so had to retire.
Course.
And then, Eddie Irvine first, he was running in third to go back to that, and suddenly he comes round the corner. He went a little bit off-road, and his front wing was basically chilling underneath the car.
We don't know how it ended up there, because we never got that replay. We just got the replay of the aftermath of him going wide because he had no front wing.
Yeah, I had to read it, and the read it said he went off track slightly before that, and his front wing gave in. But no idea. But then he went wide, got it back to the pits, and we were like, is he going to be able to continue? But anyway, he drops back to ninth.
They managed to fix the front wing.
He's still in the race. He's still in the race. And so, I've lost count with how many we've got at this start. We're not going to try and figure out at what stage of the race anyone heads, apart from after the second full safety car in the second race start.
Yes.
So, we then have Michael Schumacher. We've returned to him.
Like, are we getting to that point?
We're going to that point.
Oh.
So Michael Schumacher, at this stage, by lap 24 of the 44 lap race, had built up a 30-second lead over Damon Hill in second place. 30 seconds.
Yes.
So Schumacher, he's in a little zone. He's in like a zen mode for an F1 driver. Everything he touches turns to gold. Coulthard, he's still in last place.
He's still a back marker.
He's running in this race.
You'd expect, being in the fastest car, he would be able to make up some positions, but
He might have been feeling a bit nervous, involved in a couple of incidents.
Had some damage from when he span out.
Potentially. Anyway, Schumacher is behind. Shaking his fist. Get out my way, David! McLaren instructed David Coulthard to get out the way.
He didn't quite do that.
He lifted off
to
let Schumacher pass, but with a massive spray behind him, blinding with visibility, and on the racing line, Schumacher, bang, went into the back of him. One tyre flew off out into the crowd somewhere. I actually don't think it went into crowd. No one was hurt by this tyre. But yeah, he's now on 3 wheels, but he's still racing.
He's still the quickest car on track.
But yes, Schumacher is on 3 wheels.
Literally,
Coulthard has lost his rear wing.
if you didn't realise the wheel was off, you wouldn't know if anything was wrong. He was just driving round perfectly on 3 wheels. I'm sure if it was legal to do that, he would have just finished the race on 3 wheels.
Yeah. I mean, he had 30 seconds to play with. I know half the race, but 30 seconds to play
He
with.
was cruising around. He was still bombing around.
It was absolutely. But he's managed to get this car back to the pit. And he's come out, he's parked it, jumps out the car, bang! Chest out pumped. He is storming. He is a man on the mission.
Because Coulthard has also retired and come into the garage.
So there is a Ferrari mechanic or someone trying to kind of pull him back or strategist going, Michael, come back, get off me. I'm on a mission, I'm coming. He's storming to the McLaren garage, and I believe the quote was from him, and he's like, you tried to kill me, I'll kill you. Yeah, so he wasn't very happy, and then stormed to the stewards, and then funnily enough, the stewards say, going, were like, it wasn't Coulthard's fault. They then asked for further information on why Schumacher got in behind the spray of David Coulthard and was getting close. I imagine that probably didn't go down well.
Yes.
Of going, I was trying to overtake him.
Why were you on the racing line, Schumacher? That seems like a silly move.
For a race leader, rather than a back marker. What are you? You were dominating. You had 30 seconds. Yeah, what were you thinking? But you know, if we were going for F1 conspiracies there, David Coulthard was running outside of the points and just kind of trading around to back marker. No real point in him competing in this race.
His teammate obviously leading the constructors. Maybe a little helping hand there.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly made it difficult for him to pass, and I don't think he would have deliberately crashed him out, but I don't think McLaren were like, oh no, that's not good, we've taken out Schumacher. Oh, damn, curse it, we're so clumsy sometimes. But,
Jeez.
yeah, that was a huge incident, and just, wow. Like, Schumacher, it would have been a Senna-esque. If he had completed the race, I would pretty much be sure that he probably would have built up a minute gap.
Yeah.
And it probably would have been one of the greatest drives in the rain of ever. Certainly one of his best drives in the rain, and still probably classified as one of his best drives in the rain, barring that Coulthard incident. So the hopes with Ferrari laid now in just one driver, Eddie Irvine. Spun out. He
was just spinning around in the gravel and then came to a gentle stop on the tyres. It was like, yeah, that's me, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if his car even took that much damage.
I don't think it did, but
It was quite graceful.
But I just don't think he could get it started. I think it just stalled.
Yeah.
I imagine. Or maybe he was just like, you know what, I don't want to drive this anymore. I wouldn't blame some of them of just going, you know, doing a Ralph. Just parking it to the side and doing it neutral. Apart from, instead of putting it in gear after the chaos had ensued, just gone, it's not for me today. It's not for me.
No.
I don't fancy it. But
so the race how it is. Coulthard's in the garage at the moment, isn't he?
yeah.
But the Hakkinen and the 2 Ferraris are out. So most of the dominating cars are out the race. Ralf Schumacher had quite a good pit strategy. He's now in second. Damon Hill has regained the lead, of course. So you've got the 2 Jordans, 1 and 2. I think Alessi's behind them. That's your top 3 at the moment.
And yeah, that is the top 3 of the race. A Sauber and 2 Jordans.
So the drama is not over yet.
No, because then probably still blinded by the spray, was that not still blinded, but another one blinded by the spray, was Giancarlo Fisichella.
Oh no.
Oh, and Fisichella was in the Benetton, and he came up behind the Minardi of Nakano. He went into the back of Nakano, near the pit exit, I believe it was, and he lost one tyre, then he lost the second tyre, and he was a torpedo.
He then became a torpedo.
Off the sidetrack. And
the origin stories of Kvyat.
And then he looks behind him and there's smoke coming out of his car because his engine's set alight.
He just has a quick look and goes, I should get out now.
It just jumped quickly, like the steering wheel had already come off, just frustrated, and it was like, what's that smoke? Ah, get out! Left his steering wheel, just pegged it, just got out of there. Not blamed him. And then I think there was funny, the marshal was just going, oh, I've got to get this set up now.
Took his time.
Just faffing around in terms of that. But then obviously with that, I believe Nakano was still on track, so it meant that a full safety car had to come out for another 5 laps, I believe it was. And at that stage, there were only 6 races, six cars still involved in this race. Under safety car, David Coulthard came out again. His race is not over. Coulthard is still in this one. He is determined to get something from this race.
He's been in the garage for about 3, 4, 5 laps.
Yeah. And bearing in mind that only the top 6 cars score points in the championship, and he was now running in 7th.
Wait, top 8?
No, top 6.
Top 6, oh, okay.
Top 6. So Coulthard really literally was going out in hoping that more people would crash. Is the only way I can imagine he did. And it's classified here that Nakano came out as well at the end, who Fisichella had just kind of rammed into the back of. But yes, basically the race restarted and it pretty much finished how it was.
Well, just on Coulthard, he reminded me of the Terminator of refusing to give up. Just just see Coulthard's car coming back from another crash behind him.
Rare footage of Coulthard post-race is he's actually lost half his face and there's just a red eye with a metal exoskeleton underneath. Just like, I'll be back. Oh, we had to do it. We spoke about the Terminator. We had to kind of get it back. That was pretty much it for the drama.
Well.
But Ralf Schumacher was chasing down his teammate really quick as well. Eddie Jordan on the pit wall, team principal of Jordan, of course, to Damon Hill. He says, Damon, Ralf is quicker than you. No, he doesn't say stuff like that. But basically, he instructed Damon to let him pass. Damon, he's had a great race. He had that great fight, the highlight of the racing at the start of this race, and he has consistently gone through. No mistakes all race.
For me, driver of the day.
He was driver of the day. You know, it probably would have been Schumacher if he was completed, but out of classified finishers, it had to be Damon Hill. So he turns around and he goes, you either let us fight for first and put at risk this kind of, 1-2 finish, or you tell Ralf hold position and we bring this 1-2 home. After deliberation, they decide to go for the 1-2 option. The race finally comes to its conclusion.
But wait, Coulthard, making his way through the field, found himself in 3rd position, obviously 5 laps behind. But he's just behind those Jordan. It's like, oh, is Coulthard going to strike again?
And it's safe to say, if you asked David, I'm pretty sure that it wouldn't be one of his highlights of his career. It was one of those where he had a car magnet on him there and was involved in many, many incidents within that race. Poor David. We like David Coulthard, he's a good Scottish driver. you know, he had spent his career at McLaren, was a good kind of solid support driver to Mika Hakkinen in that time, and then Kimi Raikkonen at the start through there, and then obviously went on to Red Bull and kind of helped mould that team into the success that it would then go on to have in the early 2010s. But this was not his finest moment, that is for sure. But Damon Hill came across the line. His 22nd race win and his last of his career. Ralf Schumacher in second and Jean Alesi managed to come in third, and that was his last podium of his career as well. So a couple of lasts.
Yeah.
And what a way to kind of get, if you kind of look back and go, what was your last ever win in F1? The 1998 Belgian Grand Prix. People go, wow, what a race. That's a race that you can bring up.
It's an achievement.
Absolutely.
The fact that we say Damon Hill just got round and made no mistakes, that's a big achievement. It was torrential conditions. You had David Coulthard on track. It was dangerous out there.
Yeah, DC was the kind of like shark. Who's my next one? Oh, but yes. So the classified finishers of the 1998 Belgian Grand Prix are Damon Hill in first, Ralf Schumacher second, Jean Alesi in third, Heinz Harald Frentzen in fourth in the other Williams, Pedro Diniz in the Arrows, and Jarno Trulli sixth, with David Coulthard and Shinji both coming in at 5 laps down. Jarno Trulli was also 2 laps down, so it was literally just like, bring home the point, Jarno. Bring home the point. That was it. That was the race. What a chaotic race the 1998 Belgian is, and an absolute classic.
Yeah.
One of the best races in modern F1, probably F1 ever, just for the carnage that happened. For on-track racing, it had it all.
Yeah.
It had
Damon and Schumacher battle.
It did.
At the perfection of Schumacher's wet racing.
Yeah. It had, you know, a turn 1 incident. It had a red flag, a race overall restart. Then, you know, controversial, both of the top teams' drivers, DC did finish. Pretty much both of the top two teams' drivers, well, they were out of race contention.
Yeah.
They weren't going for the race, so we were going to get a surprise winner, and it was those kind of iconic yellows of the Jordans. You know, what a livery that was, the Jordans. They were flair.
They were nice looking cars.
They were very good, and there were quite a lot of kind of nice looking cars on that grid during that period. It's like the McLarens. I love that kind of McLaren livery. Not in that race, but I love it. And it's cigarette sponsors. They do just do, you know, the best kind of logos on F1 cars, but obviously don't condone smoking. That is terrible for your health. What we're really saying is, come on, other companies, what are you playing
What have you got?
What are you playing at? Don't let them steal the thunder. Come up with better sponsors to kind of look on the cards now, so, you know, we can go back to kind of great F1 liveries of the past. Honestly.
Yeah.
But that's been our kind of race review of Spa.
Great race.
We hope you've enjoyed that. It was carnage, and I suppose the only thing is it actually was maybe potentially a title-defining race.
Yeah.
Because, like we said, Michael Schumacher would have taken a 3-point lead going in to the next round, and I believe there were 4 rounds to go after this. And instead, he was 7 points behind still. And McLaren, you know, it would have been closer in the constructors.
Yeah.
But instead, everything stayed as it was. It was like the race never happened for those guys in terms of relation of their points. But yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. Next week we will be looking at Monaco 1992. The King of Monaco, Senna.
Oh yeah.
So we're looking forward to that one. And that was definitely a great racing battle that ensued in that one. So yes, we will be watching that one next week. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of Spa 1998, what your memories are. Have you gone and just watched it What are your initial thoughts after doing it? If you haven't watched it ever, like Stephen had it before, go and watch it. What a race! Yeah. It's just, I'm sure you can, even if you don't have F1 TV, I'm sure there's probably highlights on YouTube.
Yeah. There'll be highlights out there.
Yeah, that you can just watch, because, wow, something else. And if you're new around here or you haven't done so already, what can I do, Stephen?
You can like, they can subscribe, and they can ding that bell.
Ding that bell. Ding it.
Ding it.
And that's it from us. So, for now, you F1 fans, keep racing.